everybody, I'm Crafty Kay and today I'm going to show you how to make a face mask out of a t-shirt using my sewing machine. It's a great way to protect yourself in today's world, and it doesn't cost much money, just an old t-shirt and a bit of elastic and the use of a sewing machine. It's ideal for beginners, so let's get started. Okay, you'll need a t-shirt, a sewing machine, a ruler, a pair of scissors, some elastic or hair bands, a plate, which is about 23 centimetres, some marker pens and some pins. Okay, so using your plate, I've actually using a cake tin bottom, so it's the same distance, either or. Place it on the t-shirt. Using your marker, I prefer to use a pen. You mark round. Okay, so now we've done a round with the pen, you can remove your plate and you'll have your marking on the t-shirt. Now I've used a pen because it's a lockdown. I have not been able to get any of the tailor's chalk that you could go around with on the dressmaking, so I've had to use the pen. But it's still fine because when you've cut round it, you won't actually see any of the marking anyway. Okay, so now all we've got to do is, using your scissors, just need to cut all the way around the circle, and you're using the front of the t-shirt and the back of the t-shirt fabric, so you should end up with two circles. Okay, so now you've drawn your circle, you need to pin the top fabric, which is the back part, and the front part of the t-shirt together. So using your pins, just pin down your fabric, just helps it to ease. Okay, so now we're going to cut the fabric and I cut around the circle. Okay, so now we can remove the pins, so we can pop those pins back in there. So now we need just to finger press and press out to make it nice and flat. And we're going to take this and we're going to bend it in half. Press it out with our hands again. And bend that in as a quarter. And do the same again. Flatten it out. So now we've got a quarter, we need to cut down here and all the folds. So here are my two piles now. So you'll have layers in there which will be used for your filter, and layers in there because we've used, so you should have 4 of each now. And now we're just going to pin down here and down here because we're going to sew along here and along here. So we're going to pin down here. Okay, so we sew along here and along here. Okay, so now we're just going to sew along the top there. Placing it into the sewing machine. Okay, so that is now finished. You've just done your normal stitch on that part. Now we're going to do the same for this one. And then you've got your 2 pieces now done, both stitched up here. Now we're going to remove the pins from the fabric. Okay, so now we've removed all the pins, what we're going to do is turn it the right way out. So you've got your stitching that you've done. Obviously that's the back of the part there. if you've noticed, you'll have 2 layers of material. So but this will actually be extra thick for classing as more protection. And we do the same again here, so you'll open this one up, have the same again with the stitch in there, and again you'll have 2 layers there that will be extra material. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're doing both facing the correct way. We're going to lay it on top of each other, so you'll get extra quilting. Okay, so we're going to take the 2 pieces of fabric, which is facing the right way, match them up together, both facing the right way together, stretch it out a little bit, and then what we're going to do, we're going to pin around here with 3 sides. Okay, so we're leaving this part not pinned because this is the part we're actually going to start to stitch. Okay, making sure that you stitch the inside, which is the wrong way, stitch that way. So I'm going to place this under here. Okay, so now we've just sewn along here, and we're going to do exactly the same all the way down here, and we get to the last one. I'm just literally going to sew up to there, leaving about 1 inch from the top. Okay, so I've left a gap here, is now we're going to turn it the right way in. Okay, so now we've done all the stitching around the edge. We've just got this gap at the top here. Okay, now this is the one where we need to sew. I like to sew it by hand so that it's still got that neat sort of edge in there all the way around, where some people will put that in there and they will stitch a stitch all the way around with the machine, but I tend to prefer to hand stitch that, so I'm going to hand stitch that. Okay, so now we've gone around the edges, we're finishing off with the hand stitching all the way around with the machine. Okay, and that's obviously the inside, and that's going to be the outside. So all is left to do now is add on the elastic. Okay, so now we need to put the elastic on. So you need 2 strips of elastic. If you do not have any elastic, you can also use a hairband. I have some elastic in my sewing box. So I'm going to measure out roughly about 18 centimetres, which is about 7 inches. Again, it might be slightly different for everybody, but if we go for that, it's usually a standard. So 18 of those, you need 2 of those. So taking your piece of elastic, turning your face mask the wrong way in, you need to just tuck over a little bit of the corner. So basically you'll have it as like this. Right, okay, so we need to just turn in about 2 centimetres there, and then you need to pin it. And then do the same the other side. And then pin that as well. Okay, then you're ready to sew. We're going to just literally sew here and here, and then we're going to threadle through the elastic. Okay, so I'm going to hand sew this bit. Some people use the machine, which you're quite happy to do, but because it's slightly thick, because I've used extra layers of the t-shirt to give us extra protection, it is quite thick. But again, you can use the machine if your machine's able to do that, but I would prefer to do it by hand. So to do it by hand, all you do is you just take 1 piece of the fabric. So you're not actually going straight through the back. You're just literally going to be taking up the back piece of the fabric and popping it through the needle through this part here. And then I'm going to make a little loop so that it protects it. So all you're doing is when you're picking it up and pushing it through there, it's not going to be coming through the front. So you continue that all the way through. Okay, then making a knot in the cotton, just cutting that off there. And that's that done. So basically you've got a nice little area there to then thread all through the elastic. Same again this side, again just hand sewing exactly the same way to match the other side. Okay, so now you've got your two ends that you've now sewn. Now the next thing you've got to do is thread all the elastic through the ends, one on each. Right, all that's left now to do is place the two pieces of elastic that we've got through each of the hole. Now the way I do it is by using my thick needle, and you can use a pin if you haven't got a needle, so I'll show you the needle first. So the way to do it is thread all the elastic through the needle, just put a little bit, okay, and then just pop the needle through the hole, gently pulling it through. And you can just take that out of there, and that's through. Right, next is to do the other end. Now if you don't have one of these pins, you can actually use a safety pin, and you can hook the safety pin through the elastic and just pull it through the same way. Okay, now the next bit is you could either just tie a knot in it and cut the loose ends off and then just thread all the knot round, or if you want to make it look a little bit better, you can hand sew them. I tend to hand sew mine. So if I keep it there, taking your needle, just doing a few stitches in there. Okay, and now we're going to do the same again for the other side, attaching it together like that, and just putting a few little stitches in just to hold it in place. Okay, so that's it. That'll be the elastic now. So you've done it. So you don't want this end to show, you can just turn that round so it doesn't see it. And there you have your mask. With also protection of it being very thick. Thank you for watching the video. That was how you make a face mask. If you liked my video, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.